Mitsubishi's Outlander has long occupied a unique space in the medium SUV category. Whether we call that the fact that you can get it with 7 seats, a plug-in hybrid variant, or with that long 10-year warranty, these are all aspects that are seldom unseen in the space. But does the 2022 car still offer that unique space in the market? We're in Adelaide to find out. This is the first time the current generation Outlander has been offered with a plug-in hybrid variant, and it's brought more in just about all areas over its predecessor. It's got a larger 20 kilowatt-hour battery, higher output electric motors, and it has a claimed 84 kilometre range. It also gets 7 seats in the PHEV variant, which wasn't an option before. It's also more expensive than its predecessor. Prices are up by $9,500 by our count.
You can have the PHEV powertrain across 4 model variants, including the base model ES, Aspire, Exceed and Exceed Tourer. All versions come with an all-wheel drivetrain. Standard features across the range include a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, 9-inch touchscreen, LED headlights, climate control, 8 airbags and advanced safety features including autonomous emergency braking, adaptive cruise control and blind spot monitoring. The Outlander PHEV is powered by a 2.4-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine paired to electric motors at the front and rear. According to Mitsubishi, combined outputs stand at 185 kilowatts and 450 newton meters. Claimed fuel use is impressive at 1.5 litres per 100 kilometres, though it's recorded using lenient NEDC testing. In any case, this new generation is more fuel efficient and goes further than its predecessor. Connect the Outlander's 20 kilowatt-hour battery to a DC fast charger and you'll have 80% of charge in just under 40 minutes. On a regular 240 volt home outlet, a 100% charge will come in 12 hours. Interestingly, power also goes the other way. The Outlander comes with the capability to divert its charge using vehicle-to-grid or vehicle-to-home technology. It can also do vehicle-to-load to charge appliances while camping, for example. This capability is not yet available, with commercial viability said to come soon.
The car gets much of the same looks and interior as the rest of the regular petrol-powered range, so let's get stuck into the most important part, what's under the bonnet and how it drives.
At launch, Mitsubishi engineers explained the new generation Outlander PHEV has been made to feel more like a full battery electric vehicle than ever before. They're not wrong. The overall feeling is near identical to driving an electric car, whereby the powertrain heavily preferences battery power until it must use petrol persuasion.
With outputs of 185 kilowatts and 450 newton meters sent to all 4 wheels, this thing should feel like a bit of a rocket ship when on the go. Well, it doesn't have that same sort of instantaneous punch that you get from a normal EV. This is a plug-in hybrid EV. It is still pretty good at getting up and overtaking when you're on the move. Let's talk about driving modes, because the Outlander plug-in hybrid has plenty of them. Not only are there 4 ways that you can deploy the power from that electric battery, there are 7 terrain modes that you can choose from thanks to this little dial down on the center console here. The car has a sweet steering feel that's really light when you're around town, but hook it into a bend and it has a little bit of feel to show you what's under the wheels. And the suspension through mid-corner bumps is really nicely damped and won't get the car too upset. Now, when the battery is fully charged, this really does feel like an EV to drive. It heavily preferences the EV powertrain rather than the petrol one, and for all intents and purposes, you could be driving an EV. It really doesn't draw on that petrol power unless it really needs to by putting your foot down into the accelerator. I'm driving the car through a nice little town at the moment, and the car does pick up those little imperfections, but it's not to the extent that you're left uncomfortable inside the cabin. It does shield the passengers and drivers from too much upset. Interestingly, the car does come with more than a few ways to put power back in that battery. You can use these paddles on the back of the steering wheel here to gauge the energy recuperation system. The engine does act as a generator, or the engine does power a generator, so you can put energy back in the battery that way. Or you can obviously plug it into your home power point or a wall box or something like that. There is a great amount of grip from that super all-wheel control, all-wheel drive system. I haven't really had any instances of this car letting slip or any sort of hairy moments at all. Mind you, this is a dry Adelaide and we are driving a mid-size SUV. Now, just quickly on the interior, I am sitting in a nice driving position with good vision out front of the cabin and when looking behind. The seat is super comfy and I like this microfiber suede cloth that comes on the Aspire specification level. The seats do have a good bolstering to keep you in tight in those corners, and I've got a good amount of room for my legs and the rest of my body. It's not like I'm constrained at all, really. Everything is placed pretty ergonomically inside this cabin. You've got 2 screens here to display pertinent driving information. That's a good reach away, this center console here. And you also have a head-up display on this Aspire specification. Speaking of how this car actually feels on the inside, there's actually quite a few nice materials in here for this mid-spec level grade. The only thing that really grates is this door card here, which feels a bit plasticky and reminds of those older Mitsubishis that weren't really the nicest quality. Everything else feels quite nice to the touch. The dash, the steering wheel, this center console down here, it's all kind of soft touch and nicely covered. Now, being a plug-in hybrid EV, this car isn't fully devoid of noise. The petrol motor is kept quite quiet, but the electric powertrain does have a little bit of noise to let you know what it's up to, and overall, road noise is really well controlled.
Though it's now more expensive than ever, Mitsubishi has brought real upgrades to the 2022 Outlander PHEV. It goes further than ever before on electric power alone, sips less fuel, stocks more space, and even comes with nifty features like the vehicle-to-load capability. It's a model that isn't always front of mind for medium SUV buyers, but those after a frugal and comfortable mid-size SUV need only apply here. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Drive YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our content. And if you want to know more about the 2022 Outlander plug-in hybrid, be sure to head to drive.com.au.